So have you ever wanted to add custom tabs, gradients and prefixes to your Roblox chat? Well, me neither. But anyways, Roblox just released a new update that allows you to easily customize the chat as you can see right here, which I'm going to overview. So yeah, as usual, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and let's just jump into Roblox Studio right now. And like I said, there is a lot of stuff like new channels, new color gradients, new prefixes, which I will be showing in this video. So right here you have the TextChatService, and you have different stuff like the chat window configuration, where you can change the font, the color and so on, as well as the chat input bar configuration, and the most important thing, which is the channel tab configuration. And you would think that just enabling this option, which you need to do by the way, would be enough to create different text chat channels. You would think that adding something like a text channel under this instance and then naming this one like trading would create the text chat channel, right? Well, it didn't really. If I go to the TextChatService, there is a folder, and this folder is called text channels. And you have the Roblox general channel as well as the Roblox system for the system messages. Okay, so maybe I need to move the trading channel under the text channels, and you would kind of be right, but it's still not here. And the thing that the general channel has and the trading one doesn't is something called a text source instance. Okay, so let me just maybe try duplicating it, and guess what, you can't. So let me just actually go over the process of creating a new text chat channel. And again, you need to have this option enabled under the channel tabs configuration. But let me just add a script into the server script service. And this script is going to be called add text channels. And I'm just going to move it to the side. And the first thing we need to get is going to be the TextChatService, which we get by doing game.getService and the TextChatService. And then we need to wait for the previously shown folder by doing local text channels is equal to the TextChatService, then wait for child and the text channels. Now if I just print it out and do a playtest, it printed out this folder right here. And make sure that you are actually waiting for the text channels and you didn't make any spelling mistakes. But basically, now that we have the text channels, this is going to be where we actually create the text channel. And this one I'm just going to name trading channel and then instance the new and a text channel. Then I need to parent the text channel to be the text channels folder. And just for naming purposes, I'm just going to do this so I don't get confused. And I would also need to assign a name to the trading channel because the name is going to be what's going to display on the top. But this one is basically just going to be trading. Okay, so this is going to create the channel under the TextChatService, but we still need to assign the player to it. And I really don't know why Roblox did it this way. Maybe hopefully something is going to change later. But instead of using a TextChatService method that would, for example, just assign all the players to a text channel automatically, what you need to do is use a method from the text channel and assign every single player manually. So I'm just going to get the player service, which is game.getService then players, and I can just add every single player whenever they join the game by doing player service then player added and connect a function with the player argument. And basically, now I need to get the text channel and then use a method called addUserAsync. And instead of putting a player in, this method expects the user ID for some reason. So I need to do player.userID. And trust me, it would be much better to just do something like TextChatService, then like create channel and then a name of the channel, and for example a variable where you can make the channel just available for everyone. You can probably just make a method that's going to return the channel, so we can assign this to a local variable, which will basically just look like this. But well, instead we have to do some kind of a workaround because apparently Roblox doesn't really want to be convenient. But anyways, now if I do a playtest, I finally have the trading channel. I can even message something in the trading channel. But my character isn't going to have the color, like it did in the general. And that's what I'm going to cover right now. And now adding a gradient to the player text with the new chat update needs to be done through a local script. Then I'm going to put into the starter player scripts and just name this one add gradient. And here we are going to need to get the TextChatService and then create the gradient instance, which I'm just going to script with editing magic. And here is the player gradient. And adding this gradient to the message is going to be done by listening to the TextChatService then on chat window added, which is actually just going to be equal to a function, which I'm not even sure what it returns, but it gets the message, which is a text chat message. Okay, but now we need something called a chat window configuration that we get from the TextChatService, that we get by doing a local variable, which is going to be chat window configuration. And we just refer it like in a tree hierarchy by doing the TextChat service, then the chat window configuration followed by a dot. Okay, but now we need some kind of a property, or rather a table of properties, which is equal to the chat window configuration, and then another method called derive new message properties. And then we need to get the text source, which we get by the message done the text source. And then if we don't have the source, we can do, if not text source, then return end. Alright, but what do we do with the properties now? Now we need to refer to something from the properties called prefix text properties, which is equal to, again, chat window configuration, then the derive new message properties for whatever reason. And then we need to clone the gradient and then parent it under the properties and the prefix text properties that we just got from this method right here and on the top. I really don't know why it has to be done this way, but apparently this is how it works. So anyways, right now we can either just clone this gradient or just move all of this into the function, but I'm just going to do local gradient is equal to the player gradient and clone, and change the gradient.parent to be the properties, then the prefix text properties. And lastly, this function is also going to return the properties. So as you can see, we basically just get the properties, then we just check if the text source exists, then we assign the properties by getting the properties again, and then we assign the gradient to the properties that were created again right here. But anyways, if I just do a playtest and type whatever message, you can see that we have a gradient. So at least this is working. And now there is also a really simple way of adding the prefix inside of this function. And that prefix can be whatever we want, which can be something like VIP or like owner or whatever. But we basically just assign this prefix right before setting the properties from right here again. By just doing the properties.text, basically getting the whole message, which is equal to the string then format, and formatted in a way with setting a font color. But then I basically need to get the message that prefix text, which is going to be the player name, followed by a dot dot, then a separator, where this can be basically whatever, and then the dots again, and then the message that text. So it's going to look like this, except this should probably be a white space. But I'm just going to put the nerd emoji in here. And now if I just do a playtest and type in whatever, it's going to say is Paul, then the... wait, I think I just messed something up. Okay, so this one I'm going to leave. Oh, I didn't assign the properties that prefix text to be the prefix. Okay, anyways, now if I just say whatever, it's going to give the whatever prefix and my name. And same in the trading chat. But yeah, overall in this function you will check if, for example, the player, who's going to be the text source, is maybe like a VIP in the game and assign the gradient or the prefix to them. And I get it if this is going to be a little bit complicating for some people, because well, it was definitely for me. But anyways, right now I'm just going to do a quick Devforum overview, where we have the post about the channel tabs and UIGradient, now available in the TextChatService. And there are the channel tabs, the UIGradient, and something that I didn't show is the guidance on how to send messages from NPCs in the text chat. So here we have the channel tabs and how to enable them, and you can also enable them in a local script from starter player scripts, but I did it on the server. Then a tab on how do they work and customizing the channel tabs. But basically, like I said, there isn't really much stuff written in here, and I had to well figure everything out, except well the UIGradient, where you have information about the UIGradient support, then how to use the chat window message properties, which I've just shown, and there is also the rich text support, which was a way of adding the prefix. And lastly, there is the NPC speaker, where a wise tree is saying, "Welcome, I will be your guide," which is pretty interesting. I can already see like these games that have bots in them basically flame you in the chat, but anyways, you can use the text channel display system message and text chat message properties prefix text to format a system message so that it appears to come from a character. And you can also use TextChatService display bubble to have a chat bubble appear over the appropriate NPC. And it's just as simple as few lines of code, where again you get the properties, the text source, you add the prefix, and use the TextChatService, then the display bubble. And here you have a message, then the speaker name, and the channel. And you use the display system message method on the channel with the message and the speaker name. And once you get the hold of it, everything should be pretty simple, unlike me pulling my hair at the start. But last you also have the migration to TextChatService, saying that last week we announced that the legacy chat system will be removed on the April 30th, 2025, and creators have until that date to migrate to the TextChatService. And they are making these changes to like respect parental settings and comply with regulations without having to ask you to constantly implement new requirements. And you can read more about it here, and as usual they are constantly improving this feature. But yeah, that's basically everything for this Devforum post. And that's also everything for this video as well. So as usual, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, also check out my Patreon page, and a quick announcement, I also stream on the weekends, so feel free to hop on if you have time. But anyways, thanks everyone for watching and see ya guys.